And welcome once more to Flashpoints. I'm Bob Orr. Joining me, Juan Zarate. He's our national security analyst. Juan, good to see you again.
Bob, great seeing you.
So the leader of what he calls the Islamic State is this guy, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. We saw him out in a mosque in Mosul. What's the significance of that?
Well, he's proclaimed himself the Caliph, the leader of the Islamic State. He's renamed his group. He's positioned himself as the global leader of all Muslims. And he's staking out both territory and his role as the leader of this movement. And so what he did was very openly and brazenly took the heights of the mosque in Mosul, began to preach, talked about his role, and was out in the open. And what was disturbing about this, Bob, was not just the fact that Abu Bakr was so brazen about proclaiming his role in such an open position, but the symbolism of this, the black flags of ISIS flying over a major religious center in Mosul, a major city in Iraq, and the demonstration of his political power, his security, and also his theological position, at least in his own mind. And so this is a real coming out moment for him as a leader and a demonstration of the moment that he wants to proclaim a new Islamic State.
This is a guy, until that appearance, we only had a couple of grainy photographs. And then he appears suddenly as if he's governing his land, and it seemed to catch U.S. authorities a little bit by surprise.
Yeah, I think all of this, the expansion of territory, the control of territory, and the theological and political ambitions seemed to accelerate beyond expectations. Everyone knew about ISIS. Everyone knew that they were controlling territory in western Iraq. We had talked about this, control of Fallujah, for example. They weren't dislodged. Control in Syria, major player there. And also the tension with al-Qaeda as to what their role should be in Syria, and frankly, whether or not they should call themselves out as an Islamic State. But the fact that they've now captured more territory, they've brazenly sort of fought al-Qaeda theologically and physically, and the fact that Abu Bakr now feels strong enough and secure enough to proclaim this role, this is a significant role in their mythology. That all, I think, has quickened in a way that I think our officials didn't anticipate.
But by coming out, he makes himself now a very visible, tangible target. So is this just a public relations move? Is it a one-off? Or are we going to see this guy all the time? And if he does put himself out there, isn't he at risk?
Well, I think he knows he's at risk. I think he's watched the lessons over the last 12 years. He knows that senior leaders that are opposing the U.S. or other allies in the region who are threatening the U.S., they're going to have some real security concerns. And so he's going to be careful. So I don't think you're going to see him in parades and things all the time. That said, this is an important moment for him. Keep in mind, we may sort of laugh off this notion of a caliphate. We may laugh off the geopolitical ambitions of these groups. But in the minds of the core al-Qaeda, in the minds of Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the establishment of physical space, the erasing of the old lines drawn by the Western colonial powers, the ability to control, to apply Sharia law in a territory, to run an economy, to govern, all of that is a goal for them. That's the end state. And his ability to actually demonstrate that he's doing that in part, it may not be the whole of the caliphate, but he's doing it in part, is significant. And he's already drawing some support. You've seen support from groups in Libya. You've seen support from the far-off lands in Southeast Asia, where Muslims now see him as a representative of a real manifestation of a dream. This is a perverted, weird dream, one that we may not take seriously, but he and his followers take it deadly serious.
We've got to wrap up, but he now has to demonstrate he can govern. I mean, he has declared the state. Yeah. He says, I am the leader. He's got to prove it now.
Yeah, he's got a target on his back in many ways. Target vis-a-vis other rivals, vis-a-vis al-Qaeda, which thinks this is a premature announcement, and certainly doesn't think he should be the caliph. And also, he does have to demonstrate legitimacy. And we'll just have to see if they've learned the lessons from al-Qaeda in Iraq, which tried to govern and didn't do it well and was rejected by the Sunnis in western Iraq.
Another one we will watch. Juan, thanks as always.
Got to watch carefully. Thank you, Bob.
And thanks to you for watching Flashpoints. I'm Bob Orr. We'll see you next time.